So I hope that you all feel that sense of, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need like this, we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time. So anyway, okay, now I'll start. You're all reading into that.
Dang.
So I hope that
That's just mean. That's just mean there. What's up, guys? How we doing tonight? Everybody ready for a good time? Holy smokes, I got some weird stuff to talk about tonight. I mean, whew, I don't... They're here. You guys hear about this drone story? Oh man, we're gonna go over that tonight. It is craziness and just so much going on. Trump, man of the year, which should happen as president, but still a big deal. And then the opening bell tomorrow. I think we're gonna talk about what that's gonna do to our stocks, I think, and other speculations of what could happen. And then Chris Wray resigning and just some other stuff I want to hit tonight. But what a show we have tonight, because the world is going crazy, and in lots of good ways, but interesting ways as well. But first, I gotta say hi to my friends here. Big B, number one, what's up, brother? Our Will, number two, I think, is that you guys' first time, 1 and 2? Congratulations, well done. Dave Moons, second one in. Well, you're first to the like maybe, but third in. But thank you for the like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you saying that. Cat Sync, what's up? JC, cool. Almost made it. Corey Jones, GameStop. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. Could be some good stuff coming. Jake Neville, yep. Jump on the bell. Steve Bernard, Technology, what's up? Alan Krentz. I'm not a kiss and tell type person there, Alan. You know what I mean. Vince, what's up, buddy? Danny, Troy Mann. Scott Volkovich, Pat Shigoy, Agent Orange, what's going on? Country, the drones are coming. Grab your boom boom stick. Is that a Army of Darkness reference there? This is my boomstick. So now what? Kim Wiley, Ralph Van Hobbs, Lyrical, what is up? Hero. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, buddy. Randy. Can we quickly chat about figure? I talked about yesterday pretty good. I don't think I have anything new, but it'll come up in the discussion later. It is acceptable to say Merry Christmas again. Amen to that. Mark R, Paulie V, Steve Barry, Drone up. So yeah, let's just get right into it, my friends, because my God, this drone story, I didn't really start following it until today. But it kept popping up. Figured I could ignore it a little bit, but it's just getting really, really weird. So I'm gonna cover a lot of the angles, and then we'll talk. We'll discuss it a little bit. And you guys, if you hear anything new, hit it in the chat. I'll cover it, okay? Because I think there's a million details out there, and I could be missing something. I've done my best to pull up the different things I could find, and so we'll leave it at that. But let's go over just some of the coverage here. Fox News report on the drones in New Jersey. Representative Burchett from Tennessee. By the way, sorry, I should have introed this a little better. If you haven't heard about this, people are citing hundreds of drones all over New Jersey, and it's actually in other states as well, but mostly New Jersey, and they nobody can agree on where it's coming from and what's going on. It's pretty obvious they're human, I think. But anyways, I'm just going to lead with that, and we'll cover this other stuff here. So this was on Fox News today. Funny moment. Burchett says you wouldn't see a lot of that in Tennessee because everyone's got a 12-gauge shotgun. Why is the FAA not controlling the airspace? Why are leaders failing to have any info about what's going on here? Obvious, these drones don't respect them at all. Do you think we'll know anything about this until Trump's in office? Take a look at what New Jersey governor said. No known threat, even though they have no idea what they're doing. Incompetence, utterly ridiculous. And he's referring to this clip right here. I'm not going to play the whole clip, but he is saying this about Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, made a statement saying there's no known threat to the public at this time, but he doesn't know what they are. And nobody can agree on this. And this is what's so strange. Now, one theory is this is coming from Iran. And another theory is that, well, I'll get to my theory in a moment. Let me go through some more stuff here. Biden Department of Defense ignoring foreign drones in the airspace over New Jersey. Let me play this.
The best information that we have available to us to this point suggests that these drones are coming from offshore, that when we try to make contact with them, they become evasive and elusive. From my perspective, if they are American assets, if they're American military, if they're American drones, then I think we owe the American people answers or explanations. But if they're not American made, if they're not American drones, then I think we owe the American people action. And if no one else is saying, I'll be the first one to say it. If these are not American assets, then we need to get our assets into the air.
So are they lying to us? What's going on here? Look at this map. This is just several of the different sightings. As you can tell, that's all over the place. And this is just one county. All right. And the legend here says sparse versus dense. You see several places where it's dense up here, down here. This is just Monmouth County, New Jersey. I mean, that's crazy. What's going on here? What is special about this area? And the thing is nobody really knows. We have these weird pictures, and so a couple people got them up closer. You see right here, there's Arsenal Military Base, Golf Club, New York City, Trenton, Burlington. I mean, all that, all the sightings here. It's just, it's so strange. Again, just nobody's claiming it. So what is the government hiding from us? It could be fake news. It could absolutely be. We have this. Chris Smith says New Jersey officer observed 50 drones that came off the ocean, followed by 12 and 30 objects. The interesting thing here is that there's no, they can't agree. Let's listen to this.
So last night I was on the beach in Island State Park in Ocean County with the sheriff. He has been working it every single night. He's got his own tethered drones chronicling. One of his officers 2 nights ago saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there. So we thought maybe they'll replicate it. They didn't, but we thought it was a possibility. Last night we had a number of other people there, including a commanding officer from the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water, followed right behind them. So last night I was on the beach.
I mean, I'm just going to play a couple more things and then we're going to talk about it. I just want to show you guys what's all coming out there, what people are showing, just in case you haven't heard of this. This one posted New Jersey drones. Is that what they're calling them? What about Virginia, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois drones? All the same. Been posting on TikTok for 2 weeks now. People starting to wake up. I'm not going to share all these videos, but this person's been posting several different videos of the drones in different areas. This is all like links to her TikTok. You guys can follow my Twitter if you haven't seen this yet. I shared it on there, but yeah, just it's the weirdest thing. And then I want to show you guys this video because this is pretty crazy. And this is Gunther Eagleman right here. Great follow. Good conservative guy, always usually got great information. Says this is a time lapse of the drone spot in New Jersey. And just watch how strange this is. Just so flippin' weird. I don't know. I mean, so listen, it could be from Iran, like they're saying. It could be dangerous. Somebody said that they're not going over restricted areas. You know, I have my own thoughts on this. So, you know that they, when all that UFO stuff was coming out, what was it for? It was a distraction, right? What do they call them now? UABs or something like that. They don't call them UFOs anymore. But they were releasing all that, saying like we confirmed it, releasing secret files, and it was all the distraction. It was a big nothing burger. It was just basically we found out they're not aliens. Okay, it's government stuff. Well, I see this as one of two things. It's either a distraction, and they're just trying to keep our eyes off something else they're trying to pull off here. So, because this has taken over the world. I mean, this is one of the top searches on Google for the last like 4 or 5 days. It's still one of the top searches on X. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. People are just fascinated by this. We always want to see this stuff. So, I don't think an invasion's coming. That makes zero sense, right? Syria just fell. You really think Iran's got the bandwidth to get into war with us right now when their allies are falling apart in Syria and they're about to go bankrupt? I don't think so. Israel, they have Israel to deal with. That doesn't make any sense. It's not going to be Russia. Why would Russia be messing with us right now? They have all their assets just deployed in Ukraine. China, okay, so maybe China's messing with us, like with the balloon stuff. But again, does that make sense right now? Trump's about to come in. They're not going to mess around. China couldn't do anything to us in a month's time to stop this from Trump from coming in. So that makes zero sense. You just saw Jill Biden trolling the Kamala campaign like horribly nasty right at the beginning of this video. So the Bidens seem perfectly fine to be giving up power and shifting over to Trump. So what gives? What is this? So that's, one theory is a distraction. The other theory, to me, is, some people are saying the fake alien invasion. I don't think they do that, but I know a lot of people believe in that theory, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. But the other theory is that, is it possible that with Trump coming in now, there's been many people talking for years that as Trump comes into this final term and the right people kind of get into place, that there's going to start being released technologies that haven't been released yet, that they've been keeping under wraps. And it makes me wonder. Today I just saw the craziest thing about this quantum computer that Google just put out. That's insane. And then a guy on X posted about it and shared an email that he has from a government friend that was writing to him about a computer that's 10 times more powerful that they're working on in the government than the Google quantum computer. I think it's called Willow. That sounds right. But that sounds like something that might be even more likely to me, because this whole drone thing, it's just, first of all, do you guys understand how far Iran is from here for these drones to be making it over here and just being able to do their own thing? It's like they're not going back. In fact, one of them crashed, and I should have had that ready to go too. One of them crashed. It was the size of a truck. And let's see where it is. So you have people are saying mothership. Where is it? Let me get this up here because I want to share this post. If I can find it. Yeah, so this truck-sized drone crashed and the police blocked the scene. Right around here. Truck-sized drones. That's massive. That's absolutely massive. The question is, if it is somebody else, if it isn't our country, who would have the balls to get us into war right now? They all know Trump's coming in. I know somebody posted Trump's not in yet. I get it, Big B. But listen, just because he's not in doesn't mean they're not going to, or they don't realize what's coming. Do you see Trump out there? Did you see the way he gave Macron's handshake? The dude is not worried. He's not worried. He's pretty sure he's getting right into there. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Look at this is a man shake right here. This is a I'm in charge shake. You don't do this kind of stuff if you're not the leader of the free world right now. I mean, look at the way he holds it for a second. Macron's just trying to get away. I mean, Trump is just, who's the man? He's out there trolling Trudeau. This guy is not worried. And so I want to say, like, whatever's going on with the drones, I don't think it's something we have to worry about. It's a mystery. It is absolutely worth pursuing. It's worth looking into. And I'm going to stay on the story and see if anything changes, anything grows. But I want to say, like, it's probably not going to end up being a big deal. And I think over the next few years, we're going to see so much declassed, so much out there. I think we're going to see cures for diseases that we never thought possible. I think once RFK Jr. cleans up the food and the pharma industry, we're going to start seeing a healthier America that we honestly haven't dreamed of in years. Like, it'll be back when our parents were growing up, or at least my parents, and everybody was healthy when they were younger. You know, even when I was growing up in the 90s, very few kids were sick. Very few adults were sick. Cancer was like something that was shocking because it was so rare. But now it seems like every other person. I know several people have had cancer in the last few years. It's been an explosion in just the last 2 decades. So yeah, I think we're going to start seeing all that happen. It's going to start with health, and it'll go into other technologies, and it's just going to blow up. And I don't think we're going to be in Star Trek in 5 years. I don't think that. I think that's, that's a little insane. There are people who think that. There are people who think there's going to be things that that are so, it's like, some people have theories that as soon as this stuff's disclosed, we're basically going to have no more problems anymore. And I just don't agree with that. I don't think technology has progressed so far that we're all going to be perfect health just by doing a couple things. But are we going to see a lot of stuff that that we probably never thought possible, or that we only thought possible in the future, but we already have it? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. So that's the question, though, is like, when is that stuff gonna, what will show up? In the meantime, we get mysteries like this, and I don't know. I mean, let me look in the chat. What are some of your guys' ideas here? Santa's drones, naughty Jersey people. I like that. Macron asks, that's different what they're filming over New Jersey. What are you talking about? This was all the New Jersey posts I'm sharing right now. Underwater aliens. Oh, God. Hope they're not spreading viruses around. That's an interesting thought. Now, why New Jersey? Why New Jersey and only East Coast? When COVID came in, it really started showing up in California as one of the first states. In fact, I went to Disneyland in January of 2020. And as we were leaving, we saw some Asian people wearing masks. And I get it. Asian people wear masks. I've seen it before, even before that. But it was more than usual. And I remember noticing that. And then when the first news of COVID started coming out in early March, late February, it just made sense. The timeline lined up. So would they do this? I don't know. We got that fat Peter Hotez dude out there saying that on January 21st, Trump's going to be hit with a bunch of viruses. I just don't think that's what it is. Ryan says if it was evasion, it'd be over military base and facility. Yeah, just like, or over monuments, like in Independence Day. They just they position themselves over the White House and Empire State Building, blow it up. Yeah. Anyone having flashback to Men in Black? No, my flashback is X-Files, Yeah, I'm so gonna get copyright strike for that. Oh well, it's worth it. It's a great song. Biden sleeping at most events. I know. Uriel says feeling we'll find out by the 21st, and there might be. I doubt it'd be day one though. It's going to take time for this stuff to be disclosed. But again, I always look at what's going on with our leaders that are on the right side of things. And who are the people that have been speaking up on this? Well, we've had a few representatives, the Secretary of Defense, who's a total failure. And then we've had other Democrats, Phil Murphy, governor of New Jersey. We've had nobody that I trust speak up on this yet. So they're either keeping it under wraps for a reason, or it's not a big deal. And so that's how I look at this kind of stuff. Kryptonian, we have military aircraft shape-shifting abilities. Well, that'd be crazy. Really? Where have you heard that or seen that? Mad Max says, dude, look at USA layout, 700 locations around the globe. USA set up for military use, not to mention nuclear-powered ships, can power laser defense system. We're almost untouchable. Oh, you're 100% right. Not only are we almost untouchable because of everything you just said, we're also almost untouchable because of our location. We're surrounded on both sides. First of all, north and south, no threat. Canada or Mexico, they're just no threat. They're so weak. We would dust them off in a minute. But it's like those countries are weaker than like the state of, I don't know, state of New York. It's like those entire countries weaker than that. Texas could dust them easy. But then we have on each side massive oceans. We're perfectly positioned at the widest parts of both of those oceans, the Pacific and the Atlantic. So it makes invasion almost impossible, especially with today's modern technology that picks ships up on the way over. Nukes, we have plenty of time. I know some of the hypersonic stuff's a little scary with Russia, especially if they're launching from like Cuba. I don't think we got to worry about that. Everything else, it's like plenty of time to intercept. So yeah, it's very, very difficult. Plus, we're so spread out. So nobody wants to go to war with us. It just doesn't make sense to go to physical hot war with the United States of America. It absolutely makes no sense. We are like God put us in the perfect place to be safe. Let me catch up with you guys a little bit more here before I go on. Mad Max says, Star Trek, no, AI going to move very fast. That's interesting you said that, Mad Max. AI is actually starting to hit bumps that they didn't expect. They're running into areas that it's slowing them down significantly on their progress. For one, they say they don't have the energy. Our system is just not designed to provide enough energy for what AI needs for computing. We need our energy in the United States to be to about double for AI to even get close to what they want it to get to. That's number one. Number two, they're finding out that they're running out of ways to train it. They've already trained like ChatGPT. I was reading an article about this the other day. They've trained it with almost everything possible there is out there to scrape. And it's not progressing as fast as they expected. And this goes with my theory of AI always. The reason I've never worried about AI is the fact that the biggest concern people have about AI is that one day it'll basically be humanized and make the decision to destroy humanity, come after us, replace us, whatever. And it's in all the movies, Terminator, Matrix, Her. It's like they create these own, they develop their own like self-awareness. There's a major problem with that. And this is a problem that makes perfect sense from a spiritual perspective, but doesn't make sense from an atheist perspective. So if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God or the spiritual, the supernatural, you could completely understand or believe that a machine could become human. On the spiritual level, it doesn't make sense because we are, first of all, as a Christian, I believe, and I'm just going to say I know I'm right on this. I don't care what you believe. God bless you if you're an atheist, whatever, you're wrong. There is a God and he loves you, and no matter how crazy your beliefs are. But we're spirit, not body. And we are spirits with a body, not vice versa. And so an AI can never replicate us because an AI can never receive a spirit. And it's actually the spirit that makes us self-aware, that makes us unique, makes us grow. It's what always will give us an advantage over computers and machines no matter what. And that little fact, it drives me nuts when Christians don't think about that or whatever. It's like, it's literally impossible for a machine to catch up to us and to think the way we do and to become like evolve more human or better than humans. It's impossible. And so I just don't worry about that stuff. But that being said, AI has a lot of amazing potential, and I think great things will happen. Ace D, great name there. Do I think it's spiritual? I don't. I really don't. Spiritual stuff, it's just, it doesn't usually manifest like this. Plus, the drone already landed. So I don't think so at all. And people had some close-ups. You could see what the drones kind of look like. A medical report today said all the bad oils in cooking cause colon cancer. Yeah, the seed oils. Isn't it interesting that RFK now is coming in from the Trump election, and all of a sudden, before he gets into HHS, which he'll get in, before he gets in, the FDA is looking at banning dyes in the next couple of weeks, and they're now demonizing seed oils. That stuff never would have happened if Kamala won. Never, ever would have happened. Who's going to upload a virus on the mothership, Elon? Yeah, just like like Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. Great movie, by the way. Great movie. Listen, Barry. God bless you for the God bless you for the, what's it called? Ducks. But I'm not going to be a Ducks fan. Some Christians believe UFOs demonic distraction. I know, I've heard all that. I disagree with them. Country, maybe the drones could be losing LiDAR and radar to map areas. It's very possible. Very possible. I just think if that's true, what it is, they're not going to be that obvious, in my opinion. You know, they just want it. Jake Neville says, once the spirit leaves the body's dead. That's absolutely true. Did you know that they've actually measured a spirit in weight? And when a person dies, once they die, they immediately become 21 grams lighter. Isn't that crazy? They've literally measured the weight of the spirit. And they did a movie about it called 21 Grams with Benicio del Toro and I can't remember the girls, Naomi Watts. It was kind of like a big critical movie in like the early 2000s, but 21 grams. And that's exactly what your body weight changes after you die within seconds. It's pretty crazy. Mamex, Russia don't have true hypersonic because the trial's too high. Real hypersonic called scramble jet technique. See, you guys know this. I don't know that stuff, but that's awesome. Mark R says, only 47 likes. Please like, share, subscribe, guys. Appreciate it. I got definitely more to talk about. I just wanted to open on this drones thing, share my thoughts, and catch people up that had no idea what's going on with it. Because it is interesting. It is interesting, but definitely have other stuff to talk to about for the regular viewers. We're going to talk some politics, catch you up on what's going on there, and then also the stock market. So don't worry. We got more to cover here. Brett says military should send some DEI hires and Hunter on a crack binge. USS Radio Shack figure the drones out. I'm sure that'll work out great. Keith Labonte says drones are scouting epic before invasion. I just don't agree with that, Keith. Do you understand? And I already shared this, but I'll just rehash it because maybe you missed it. But it is almost impossible to invade us because of the distance in the oceans. There's just far too much time for them to travel. And I know you could say that, oh no, they snuck across the southern border. They're already in place, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see that. I think it's a small possibility that's true, but I just highly doubt that. I do think some terrorists came over for sure. I think there's stuff like that. But if you're talking about a full-on invasion from another country, it's just they don't have enough. They just don't have enough. The U.S. is still too powerful, and we're protected by the fact we're so spread out. That is one of the reasons. It's the oceans and us being so spread out as a country, having so much land. Do you guys realize that we have, even though our population is like fourth or fifth biggest country in the world population-wise, I think it's China, India, Philippines, maybe us, or maybe Brazil's ahead of us, but we're right there. But we also have so much land that we have much more acres per capita than a lot of these nations, and we're spread out. We have all these sovereign entities, states. It's just very, very difficult to pull us off. You can't just take us out with one strike on one city. And that makes it almost impossible that can invade us. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The thing is, guys, when you think about this stuff, when you think about everything that drones could be. People see the drones and they just immediately go to the simplest explanation. I know, I get it. I know that I can't remember the law. It's like, but the simplest explanation is usually the right one. I get it. I totally understand that. But oftentimes those simple explanations aren't logical. You have to think them through point A to point B and be like, how could this work if true? That's the next step. And I'm sorry, but it's just, most of those things do not make sense. You know, yeah, all the guns Americans have. That's the other thing. We have more guns in our country than the rest of the world does combined. And that includes all militaries. So just the people of America have more guns than the rest of the world combined, including all their militaries. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. So, we will never be invaded unless we're completely wiped out first by a disease or subverted government that just takes us over from top down, stuff like that. It's just never going to happen from a outright one-on-one invasion. It's just impossible for us. So, yeah, exactly. Everybody's saying it. We just don't have the means. So, yeah, I know, balloons. I'm going to be a Belichick fan. You know what? I respect Belichick going to college. I'll root for an NC next year. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. When can we buy a drone as comfortable as an SUV? Alan says, I'm thinking convention, thinking not future. Biggest strike is electric grid. That is exactly true. The electrical grid is a big deal. I completely agree with that. Our electrical grid is an absolute mess. We could be taken down, at least temporarily, by electromagnetic pulse or something like that. That definitely could happen. I'm not denying that, Alan. I just don't think it will. And I also think sometimes that's misinformation. Maybe it's put out there that it's easier to do than it actually is. Because if you actually think about it, it doesn't make sense that we would leave ourselves that vulnerable. But at the same time, maybe we do just because we're stupid. I don't know. So what are the drones? That's the question, Keith. Nobody knows. But I'm trying to figure out what is possible that they could be. It's an assumption by deduction, and that's all we can really do. Drones are MIT grads showing people. Country member for 16 months, brother. Hey, thank you, Country, for all that support. That's awesome you've held on that long. By the way, if you're not a member and you just like the content or you want to be part of this community in a deeper way, it's $3 a month. Just go ahead and join. And you'll have access to the Discord immediately, and you'll be a part of the members' lives going forward, where we have a lot of fun. And I have some plans coming up. Starting in the new year, I'm going to make some changes on the channel, and it's going to make the membership even more valuable. Let me just put it that way. All right, so it's going to be fun. But thank you, Country, for the membership, and please like, share, subscribe before we continue on here. Brett Montgomery, the other thing that needs to be kept in mind is there's a lot of chemical plants. I know there are so many things that can happen. I don't disagree with that. I don't. But we have to, we have to also think, like, ultimately, how much have we already avoided? You know, there is a God factor in all this, believe it or not. That's how we got the election done with no big issues heading into it. So there's still good things happening, guys. There is. And we just can't be afraid all the time, even though there are always things you could point to and say, well, this. I get it. 50,000 Chinese military males across the board. I get it. But 50,000 is nothing. It's really nothing in our country. So, they F around and find out is what would happen. I think they're more for spy reasons than anything else. How smart are politicians, deep state? Well, politicians, probably not too smart. I think the deep state's smart, and you can't underestimate them. I really do. But if a YouTube plane could take a picture of a cigarette pack in 1959 in Cuba 30 miles up this child's plate, that's 100% true. 100% true, yeah. So, figured it was our technology after Rogan interview with Trump talking about releasing new technology, and I do think that's a very good possibility. I absolutely do. Okay. Let me keep moving through here because we got other stuff to talk about as well. But that's my thoughts on the drones. And if anybody gets new information tonight, please post it in the chat and we'll stop and talk about it. All right. Okay. This is a pretty big deal. So Chris Wray has, one of the things with Kash Patel being named FBI director is that, well, we still have Chris Wray in, and he's on a 10-year term. Would Trump have to fire him, which, can be difficult for a president to do, or it can look really bad. You don't want to do it. Let me put it that way. Even if Trump, I don't know if Trump doesn't care too much, but you still don't want to do it. Anyways, he just put in today, made it official. It had been going around before, but it's absolutely official now. He is resigning the second Trump comes in. This is great news. It's going to open up the door for Kash Patel to come in immediately. And here's Trump's statement on resignation of Wray is a great day for America as end the weaponization of what's become known as the U.S. Department of Injustice. I just don't know what happened to him. He's so funny. We'll now restore the rule of law. Our Americans under the leadership of Christopher Wray. FBI illegally raided my home without cause, worked diligently on illegally impeaching and indicting me, has done everything else to interfere with the success and future of America. They've used their vast powers to threaten to destroy many innocent Americans. Kash Patel is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in the agency's history, committed to helping ensure that law, order, and justice will be brought back to our country again. I don't need to read the rest, but just great news here. We have stuff like this coming out now. Kash dropping FBI Wray was personally controlling the Epstein client list to ensure it stays buried. I mean, that's something that that is quite the. You know what? I just realized. Sorry, guys. I just had a squirrel moment. I never shared this. I never shared tonight's show on X. Let me put this up real quick. But anyways, that's quite the statement to make. That is pretty crazy. People are going to be mad at me. I know you guys love the typing too. It's just good times all around. Okay. I cannot believe I didn't post that. Anyways. All right. Yeah. So what is going to be coming out? I mean, this is crazy. If Kash gets in there, and this is true, which I have every reason to believe it is, we could get the Epstein list very quickly. How insane will that be? You think some of these blanket pardons have to do with that maybe? Did you know that Bill Clinton was at the White House yesterday, I believe it was? And the story is that he was pleading with the Bidens to basically get Hillary a pardon, a preemptive pardon. I mean, these people are scared. They're so scared. You see Obama out there saying that this one side is, they control the elections. They are, saying all this stuff about how they're rigging the elections, basically blaming the Republicans for all this crazy stuff, blaming us for lawfare, saying it's coming. I mean, they're projecting so hard right now because they're terrified. So Epstein list, what's going to happen with Diddy? We got the Jay-Z stuff going on. In fact, I saw the funniest video on this. I gotta play this real quick. You guys, I don't know about you guys, but listen, the NBA can be really annoying, but inside the NBA is still a great show, especially because of Barkley. This is great.
You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're wrong. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you?
Wall, man.
Here, Peck,
Fix the wall,
I'll go.
man.
See if I can fix the wall.
Point was, too soon, Kenny.
My point was,
You think
Yo, that's not a good time to talk about Jay-Z. Shaq just has to leave. I mean, this is everywhere. This stuff is just, it's getting into pop culture now. Do you realize when something like that becomes a joke, the Jay-Z stuff, once it becomes a joke, once you become a laughingstock in the pop culture, it ruins your career. Like, even if Jay-Z can skirt, even if he can skirt the issue with not get busted, it will absolutely it will absolutely still ruin him. And that's, we have to, terrible. There's terrible. We have to recognize that justice sometimes comes in different forms, and some things ultimately won't be proven, or at least in a court of law, but we can still see careers ruined. We can see people completely removed from influence. And that's going to be a form of justice as well. Their name completely destroyed in popular culture. Again, everything starts with culture. Culture is always the first place. Look what happened to OJ. He got vindicated in court for the murder of his wife. He got declared innocent, and everybody knew it was a sham trial. So even though he was declared innocent, guess what? The man had to live behind the scenes the rest of his life. One of the most famous people in history at that point. Killer running back, had the rushing record, movie star. The guy was an American pop culture icon. And it ruined him, even though he didn't go to prison for that. And then justice came for him in other ways later. I just feel like the vast majority of people who do horrible, horrible things, they can't escape justice. It always comes for them. I do believe that. And it's not that I believe in karma, but I do believe in the spiritual. And when you believe in the spiritual, you just got to believe that at some point justice comes. Sometimes it comes only in death, but it does come for you, and you can't escape it. And so we just got to realize, like, you dedicate yourself to something like that, and you ruin your life. You do. You absolutely do. Can we get Epstein videos too? What? Do you want those? I don't know. Toe cramp. Keep an eye out for massive increase in cross-border runs by those on the list. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. The other thing you can watch for, though, is people deporting themselves. Stella says, if blanket pardons all of them, Trump can arrest all of them anyways, throw them in Gitmo, pardon himself and all. Yeah, he can also sue the Biden administration and get it to the Supreme Court and hopefully get overturned anything that's blanket or preemptive. Who can afford that many drones, says Dave. The crash one was probably $6 million. That's a good point. Is it true you can't pardon murder? So now what? When I looked up pardon in the Constitution, it seemed pretty blanket. It doesn't seem like there's stipulations on that. So I don't know if that's true. So now what? I just don't. You can't pardon state crimes, but I do think, I don't know if you can, if that's true, what you say about that. I couldn't find that. I actually looked it up the other day if you could pardon treason, and I couldn't find anything that said no in the Constitution anyways. OJ was declared not guilty. Okay, same thing. Killer running back. You like that? Tokran, wouldn't surprise me if a lot of passports get flagged, stop people from... Oh, yeah. You better believe it. Sports stars? Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe we're going to see big names fall. It would not surprise me if we see some of the biggest names fall. Like, well, I don't want to get myself in trouble but I really deeply believe some of these people are really into it. Maybe, LeBron James. Remember, OJ was after the Rodney King beatings, the trials of LA, oh yeah, absolutely. Trump's not going to be the Epstein files, Nick. You're hilarious. I love the people who think Trump's going to be on the Epstein list. It is so funny to me. These people are, I'm sorry, Nick, but that's one of the stupidest takes you could have, and it shows how you haven't done any logic. You just hate Trump so much. You think that because he flew on his plane from Florida to New York, he has to be everywhere else. But that's just not how it works. I'm sorry. If you actually look up why Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago, it's because he was hitting on an underage girl. Trump wasn't having any of it. And the other thing that is just the nail in the coffin, there's absolutely no way Trump's on that list, is that they weren't good friends, Nick. you guys believe the most insane stuff. They were not good friends. Trump never considered him a good friend. Nobody did. The only person he was good friends with was Clinton, Gates. Trump hung out with them a couple times. We weren't admittedly. And also Trump says a lot of stuff. He embellishes a lot. But here's the thing. Even if they were good friends. Well, have you ever had a good friend where you found out something that you didn't know about him behind closed doors and it made you soured on him really quick? I mean, that happens a lot. And the story with Trump, and this story is proven, is that when 2004, when he hit on a 16-year-old at Mar-a-Lago, Trump banned him forever. And then Trump was the one who turned him in to the PD in Florida and got him on house arrest. So that's facts, my friend. And here's the other thing. That you cannot, if you can't admit this is something, then you just have no critical thinking ability. You have no, like, they used everything to take Trump out. Everything. You really think they wouldn't use the Epstein list if that were true? And the fact that they didn't is the ultimate proof. And if you can't acknowledge that, then you literally just have no critical thinking ability whatsoever. You're gone, man. And God bless you, but you have no critical thinking ability. So, and I'm sad for you for that. Grok says you can't pardon treason. Interesting. I think blanket pardons would be overturned by SCOTUS as well. Yeah, I think in order to be pardoned, you have to be federally indicted or prosecuted for a crime at the very least, I would imagine. So, yeah, and maybe even found guilty. So that, anyways. Yeah, I'd bring down so many of their friends. Nick, are you retarded? Sorry, but if you are, I'm really sorry. I'll talk slower. But if you really think that would mean Bill Clinton was number one of Trump's friends as well. And if that's true, then why would Trump have been hardest on the Clintons and why would they hate him so much? Do you even think about what you're saying? Do you even think about it for 1 second? Why do all these people hate him? Why does Bill Gates hate him? Why does the founder of LinkedIn, who went with him several times, why does he hate him? Why was Epstein busted on Trump's watch? Do you ever think about any of this stuff? Do you even take 2 seconds to think about it? I'm trying to talk slower for you because it's pretty obvious. You can't think through. Oh, because it's all a game with the rich. Oh, let's talk in platitudes. I love when people talk in platitudes when they have no evidence at all. It's like, hey, I don't have a good argument. Blanket statement. Hey, I have no argument. Whoa, hold up. I'm getting a bunch of evidence. Can't compute. Blanket platitude. You should go be a liberal talk show host. You'd be great. You'd fit right in on The View. I bet you're a Kyle Kalinske fan too. Because you talk like him. Anyways, you're not worth the time anymore, buddy. Sorry. You're not keeping up at all. Because everything you said makes no sense. Anyways, liberals love to debate, and you guys all know this. Liberals love to debate with platitudes because they have no facts to support them. So what they do is they throw out talking points just to keep you talking forever. They want to keep the argument going forever because then they can say, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. But the problem is that they never come back with evidence. They never come back. They never actually talk to what you just said. Did you see what I just said? I gave him a ton of evidence. And what did he say? He backed out from the debate. He backed out and parked himself into another level and said, but I want to talk about this over here. And that's their diversion tactic. It's an argumentative tactic that's used by people who want to debate and want you to fall over yourself, but they actually have nothing to throw at you. Everything he threw at me was a platitude. And when I countered with evidence, he had nothing to come back. So what he did is he backed up again with another platitude. And that's what liberals do. And you guys just watched it. And listen, I have 167 people on here and not one person, Nick, agrees with you because you're the one with the stupid argument. And that's why. So God bless. But that's we're done. We're done with you. We're not going on the flat Earth thing. that one's not happening. Anyways, let's keep moving along. All right, let's listen to Cash for 6 seconds here. I'm so excited for this man to be in the FBI. He's gonna rip stuff up.
What's your reaction to Wray's resignation? We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one. What's your reaction?
I love this man. Cash is a bad mother effer. He's gonna tear it up, and I can't wait until that Epstein list is released and Trump's not on it, and Nick is gonna cry because all his heroes are gonna be on it, and it's gonna be a very sad day for people like Nick. By the way, Nick, people are seeing through your platitudes more and more. CNN is now saying, "Oh, the people love Trump." Maybe it's because people are waking up and they're not as So here.
President. A majority of Americans, 54%, say they expect him to do a good job as president. And we asked specifically, do you have confidence in all of these areas about how Trump will perform and his ability to handle it? And once again, as we saw throughout the campaign, the economy is issue number one of his strength. 65%, 2/3 of Americans in this poll say they have some or a lot of confidence in Trump's ability to manage and handle the economy as president. And you see Russia, Ukraine followed there, then immigration, and his leadership skills, what he intends to use his power for, whether that'll be responsibly not, a bit lower. But again, all of this is majority support. So that is where things stand right now.
Riddle me this, liberals. Trump's been around for 8.5 years now on the political sphere. He's lost all his old friends he used to hang out with on the Democratic side because he's different than them, and gave up all of that. They went scorched earth on him, tried to ruin his life, steal his money, assault him with every legal angle, every political angle. The media completely turned on him with the most negative coverage of any politician in history. And yet, 8.5 years later, the man is more popular than he's ever been. Riddle me that, because that's what happens when all you do is lie. Do you still believe in Russia, Nick? I bet you do. This is I cannot believe I had this clip ready. This is so perfect as I talk about the liberal debating a liberal. Here, this is the Postmaster General of U.S. or running, actually not Postmaster General. No, he is Postmaster General, runs the USPS. Listen to this exchange.
You, sir, do not get an A grade. You cannot give yourself that grade.
I just did.
You can't. You can't grade your own paper, sir. I've been to medical school.
Well, then,
I got my MBA. You can't. I'm sorry. You are graded by the United States people, and they don't use your service anymore. You bankrupt.
that is not true.
You
That is
bankrupt
not
this
true,
through
sir.
your
My
reputation
business is
only.
growing.
Through your
Our
reputation,
business is growing.
you are responsible for the fall of the Postal Service
No,
and the
this
lack of
Congress,
accountability.
This Congress is responsible for
doesn't-
all of the Postal
so it's
Service.
Congress's-
I am trying to fix
On your
the Postal
watch,
Service.
with all the AI.
Before my watch, the same stuff
With
happened.
all
worse.
the AI, with all the computer systems, you're worse than if I took
You're
a
talking
horse
to yourself
and picked up the mail and delivered it 2 miles down the road. That's you.
Wow.
I hope you got that on camera.
Even at the
This is the response.
most powerful
that the
positions
Postmaster just gave.
in America just can't handle an argument. That's hilarious. Snowflake. Oh my God. Nick, I debated you on your stuff, but I have a show to run. You're not the only person here. If I'm a snowflake because I completely dismantled your argument and then just lost interest once you stopped talking to the argument itself, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's not what a snowflake is, by the way, but that's funny. How the people in the poll show up out of nowhere, higher numbers than vote percentage. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. What happened to CNN if they installed nets on the roof around the building to catch jumpers? Yeah, Jim Acosta is going to be one of the first ones out. You better believe it. It's he's probably having a real hard time. Him and Scott Wolf, yeah, they're not going to have a good time. Back the guy annoyed by me drinking my water. Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. All right. So tomorrow, actually, let me come back to this. I want to jump ahead here. All right, so DJT, we got some really interesting stuff going on in the stock market, guys, and the economy is looking rough. Trump tomorrow is going to, two big things are happening for Trump. Tomorrow he's being named Times Person of the Year. We got to be so politically correct now. Man of the Year. Let's just say it like it's always been. Man of the Year. Trump tomorrow is Times Man of the Year. And I know that offended the snowflakes like Nick, because I didn't say Person of the Year. But tomorrow he's Man of the Year. And also, on the same day, they're having Trump ring the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. What a statement, especially when his stock has become one of the biggest meme stocks, is heavily shorted, I should say, and has been showing extreme momentum. Did you guys see the attack on DJT today, where in the beginning of the day they knocked it down, almost got it under $33, and then it shored up and closed over 36. Just a massive run on DJT when the short sellers, they have GameStop and AMC, DJT all in this hedge fund basket, and they're moving funds around because GameStop's getting feisty. And so they're attacking AMC to try to hold down GameStop because they're selling off there, get money. DJT also, they were trying to hold it down while GameStop moves. They couldn't. It's an extreme show of strength. So tomorrow, Trump's ringing the bell, and we have Ham out there, and Ham he's dropping some major hints here. All right. Finger just spoke with I Can't Tell You. Retail shareholders went to an event at Mar-a-Lago. Devin Nunes was there. This is exciting stuff. Word on Fraud Street is Trump will address naked shorting tomorrow at the New York Stock Exchange. Listen, if he does this, even if he doesn't do this, I think DJT is going to have a great day tomorrow. The reason is because Trump ringing the bell it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. The closer we get to his inauguration, the more the short sellers are freaking out, the harder it is to keep these stocks down. They're going to have to let them run at some point, especially because the economy is weakening, which I'm going to show you guys in a second as well. But if Ham knows something, and listen, I can't tell you what I know from Ham, but listen, Ham's doing the God's work out there. He hasn't told me who he met with, but this meeting at Mar-a-Lago, they're talking directly to Nunes, Bondi, Patel, and Trump about what's going on Wall Street. So if you guys are worried that we're going to get them, people are going to go after them in the market. I mean, Trump owns 51% of DJT. Cash Patel's on the board. Pam Bondi has over 100,000 shares. These people are not going to be okay with their stock being messed with. All right. And so at the same time, we're seeing this pressure mounting. Dow Jones has been down a bunch. And this pressure just keeps coming. So check this out. We have Fed is still undoing their pandemic era stimulus. So they're pulling out all their money that's been holding up the stock market and the banks. Fed's balance sheet fell by $98 billion in November to $7 trillion, lowest since May 2020. That's got to be a misprint. That's got to be billion. Anyways, since April 2022, Fed reduced its portfolio of assets by $2 trillion or 23%. As a result, Fed's total assets to GDP ratio decreased to 24%, lowest since March 2020. Ratio is now 26%, below 26% recorded in Q3 2014. However, central bank's balance sheet is still $2.7 trillion above pre-pandemic levels. Undoing pandemic era stimulus has a long way to go. You see the jump right here during the pandemic? And it just kept going. This is how Biden stimulated the economy, by the way, one of the ways. Also, Yellen selling treasury bonds like crazy. But they've been in all the government jobs and fudging the numbers. This is how they manipulated the economy. Well, it's starting to come down just in time for Trump to come in. They're unwinding it all. Why? Lots of reasons. A, they've lost their incentive to keep it up. But B, they're worried. They're worried that the grown-ups are coming back. And this time they're not going to care. But that's good for people who are in the stocks we're in. Finance Lot's been tracking this. We continue following the same pattern. Dow Jones could bottom on Monday. This is 1920 comparison to 1929. Okay, so the peak was on December 4th. It's been going down ever since. and you have 1929, September, October 4th, and then a downslide. And now you have right here. And we are just right here on this downtrend. That's the beginning of it. This is extra. Is it going to happen? Who knows? I'm not saying it will right away. I do think eventually. But insane stuff's coming. Insane stuff's coming. And just, I don't know when. But if you guys are all positioned, we'll all get through it nicely. But let me pull up DJT to show you guys just what's going on. Futures are down considerably. They must be talking about the drones in New Jersey on the stock market, scaring people. So today, volume was not that large. All right. But today, here's where they start the attacks. Come in, they just try to get it down, pop up, down, and then just a great rest of the day. I mean, that strength. I was talking to Pedro today while this is going on, and Pedro at the beginning of the day thought they were going to knock it down to 31, and if they broke that, get it in the 20s. Didn't happen. The fact that it's showing so much strength means they might be on the ropes. And if you look at GameStop, another banger day for GameStop too. And we don't even have that big volume spike yet. That could be coming any day now as things get interesting. So tomorrow, I think tomorrow's going to be an interesting day with Trump ringing the bell. And so I'll be paying attention, not financial advice. You guys know where I stand. My favorite right now, short-term DJT, Fingers, my number one. GameStop, I'm barely in, but I'm watching. But all these are tied together. They're all tied together now, all these highly manipulated stocks. And so if one goes, it's very possible they all start rocketing. They're going to have to let off the steam at some point. And there's some bubbling going on right now. It's bubbling up. And the question is whether it escapes or something special happens. And so that's what I'm watching. Pedro's been doing OT battling Doug Sifu. Oh, I know. So now what? Has it ever happened before the man of the year rings the bell? I mean, if it has happened, I don't think it's happened on the same day. I mean, that's pretty significant. It's pretty crazy. If Trump speaks about SEC enforcement, it's going to be huge, yeah. He did talk about moving DJT to NYSE, or NYSE. You know what? That would be interesting if he announces that tomorrow. That would be very interesting. Or if he has Devin Nunes put out a PR tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's a day to watch, guys. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen, but it is definitely a day to watch. Psalm says, Patrick Byrne is the main guy exposed Wall Street corruption, plus he exposed election fraud by machine. He did. I love Patrick Byrne. Psalm 37, one of my favorite Psalms. Mad Max, wow, Trump talks about naked shorting tomorrow would be madhouse crazy. It would. I don't know if it's too early. I don't know if I agree with that. I think anytime's fine. But we're going to watch and see. JC Cool says, just reported Zuckerberg donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. Donate $1 million to the inauguration? How does that work? I've never heard of that, a donation to the inauguration before. I have to look into that. He's trying to buy forgiveness, right? Does DJT own 57%? Okay, I was wrong. I knew it was over 51. 1929 didn't have Trump. That's true. When the tariffs hit, the party's over. Oh my God. Do you even know how tariffs work, Nick? Tariffs will be just fine if he cuts regulations and he cuts taxes. It'll all work out just fine. Tariffs are going to be great for the economy. I love when people don't understand how economics work. That's such another, I love the talking points. It's just, hey, I heard tariffs are bad from Jim Cramer, so I'm going to say tariffs are bad. Our entire economy used to work on tariffs before the income tax, and then we phased it out. Why did Biden keep Trump's tariffs? And supposedly the economy's great now. Did you think about that? Tariffs did great for us under the first Trump round. I love this stuff, man. Tariffs are amazing. Tariffs are going to bring back investment in the U.S. Tariffs are the ultimate bargaining tool. Look, he already got Mexico to start shutting down the border with tariffs. Are you kidding me? But you're probably okay with, 15-year-old Chinese slaves making your iPhone. So it's so crazy, these people. Nick, the funniest thing about you, and actually the saddest thing about you, is that you came in here and everything you've said is exactly the talking points and what's the word I'm looking for? The generalizations that have been popping into my chat, and I've been seeing on all the liberal podcasts, which, by the way, I watch more of those than I do the conservative ones, because I love to see what you guys are talking about and how wrong you guys are. And I don't debate, though, like you do, because I just watch and laugh. It's hilarious. But you're saying all the things that there's a reason other people, especially on the conservative side, Scott Bessent, Elon Musk, there's a reason all the successful people are going to the Trumps, and all the people who have been made rich by government regulations, crony capitalism, big government jobs. There's a reason they all stay with the Democrats. But all the people who actually are independently successful, there's a reason they all came to the Republican side, because they're just much smarter and they actually understand how these things work. And they don't just throw out talking points all the time. But it's interesting, because you literally have not given me one original idea yet. I'd like to know if you're an original person, Nick, but I don't see any evidence of it. Manufacturing is never coming back, really. It came back a ton under the first Trump administration. In fact, it came back. Wages were up for the first time. The wage gap closed for the first time in 60 years under the first Trump. And a lot of that was due to manufacturing coming back. So it's so funny. You just don't even know what you're talking about. Metaverse says, according to ChatGPT, group of private drone enthusiasts trying to wake up Americans. Really? The drones in Jersey? ChatGPT said that? Can ChatGPT even comment on something that's going on today? I use ChatGPT all the time, and I have trouble getting daily up-to-date news on it. You guys. Businesses support inauguration campaign. I've never heard that before, but I guess it makes sense. I just figured the inauguration was something paid for by the government, like the transition team, something like that. But I had no idea that it had sponsors. That's very interesting. Go to spatial metaverse. Trump did invite Xi to the inauguration. What original? It sounds like I'm listening to Fox. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Again, Nick, you're so funny. This is why I like talking to guys like you, even though sometimes it drives my chat nuts. I've literally said, you're not throwing any new ideas out here. I've asked for an original idea. I asked for you to actually go point by point on something I've brought to you. And what do you say? Even when I bring up the original idea thing, and this is the saddest one of all, Nick, because you should have been able to at least give me something on this one. And instead, what you said is something so unoriginal. You threw it back at me. Again, here comes the platitude. What about your original thoughts? You sound like you're on Fox. Just, oh my God, man. You're like a walking cliche. It's really sad, Nick. I hope someday you do wake up and start having original thoughts. It'll be really good for you. I think maybe you should take a month, go try to build a business or something, get out in the real world, and turn off Tim Dillon at the Bulwark, and turn off Pod Save America. Stop listening to Jim Cramer for your financial news, and stop watching The View. I really highly recommend that, especially because your name's Nick, and I assume you're a guy, a guy or a gal, but I'm assuming you're a guy. But so you definitely shouldn't be watching The View anymore. And what you should do is you should just clear yourself out of that for a month, and then actually go try to work with your hands, get out in the real world, try to maybe build something. And then you'll realize, oh my God, like life's so much different than in my podcast world, in my college world. And maybe Marxism isn't a great idea. I don't know, unlike my college professor taught me, but so it's interesting. It's very interesting. But the cliches are really are really sad. Oh, you can't stand Pod Save America. Okay, let me guess. They're probably not leftist enough for you. That's probably what it is. Yeah, thank you, Butters. Yeah, I hate Fox News. I actually haven't watched Fox News. When was the last time I watched Fox News? I think the last time I watched Fox News, actually, it was before I went off to school in 2012, went back to school. It was like 2010 era. I think I watched an O'Reilly No Spin Zone. I think that was the last time I watched Fox News. It's been a long time. Daddy Trump's going to be back. He's going to screw up the economy, destroy the likes of everyone. Oh my God. Okay, well, we'll see how that works out for you, Slick. You do know who got us into this. Do you guys realize? Like, I love this. People who say, you despise leftists, and why do you talk like them on literally every talking point you make, Nick? I don't think you actually despise leftists. I think you are one, and you're trying to play it cool. So you can see, but the problem is you give yourself away when you say you hate them, but you're actually at the same time are talking just like them. It's very interesting. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe Harris Sassoon is his favorite. Anyways, what I was going to say is, you think everybody who thinks Trump is the one who's gotten our economy screwed up or done all this stuff to us, you guys remember that the one area where, the one period of time where things got significantly better was once Trump's policies started getting enacted in 18 and 19, before COVID. That's the first time in 15 years that our economy had really made a major upswing since about 2004, 2005, before things started tapering off and then the crash under Bush. And do you realize that the last 12 of the last 16 years was run by moderate Democrats, actually true leftists, and then Bush was terrible in the economy as well. So you realize we haven't had a good economy. Actually, I should say economy built on good principles since the Reagan era. And that economy was so strong, it made Clinton look like a badass, even though Clinton had nothing to do with it. And it even carried into the early Bush years. So you're a moderate, very interesting. If you're a moderate, I'm interested. Who did you vote for? Who are you rooting for? That'll tell me a lot. No discussion of Finger. Randy, ask me a question about Finger. If you guys, I've already covered everything. So if you guys have any questions, I'll take them. But I'll tell you that tomorrow, I already told you guys, we're in a basket of. No, this is an everything channel, Nick. This is a current events channel. Where I cover current events, and I talk about macroeconomy, and I talk about stocks that I like. That's what this is. It's a my channel. That's what it is. I talk about. That's not what I asked you, Nick. I also asked you, who would you have stood up for? Oh my God, Slick. Trump did have an infrastructure plan that he couldn't get passed. You do know that, right? You do know that. You should go back and actually read the news from 2017, 2018. And as far as a healthcare plan, well, he didn't get to even have a shot at creating it because the Republicans, he tried to disband Obamacare first so he could build something up. But if you like Obamacare, which is a disaster, you know what the ultimate healthcare plan would be? Dismantle, get the government completely out of it and let it go back to free market, back when you could pay $20 and have a doctor visit your home and everybody was healthier. Isn't that funny how that used to work? But no, instead we just go more and more government, and it doesn't work. As far as DJT Finger, guys, listen, you guys, I love you guys always asking me about this stuff, but sometimes there's just not much to talk about. Finger, we're waiting on the dividend. I love Finger. I'm still heavily invested in Finger. I think Finger is going to be an absolute monster. But there's nothing to talk about. There's no news. DJT, I just gave you the news. Trump's doing the stock. He's ringing the bell tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good day for DJT. The strength in DJT it showed today was incredible. GameStop has really been on an upswing lately, had great earnings come out, and they promised not to dilute anymore this year. So if there is a run, that gives everybody hope that they could maybe make a big push in and they're not going to get cut off on a run because of promise of no dilution for the rest of the year. And you have Roaring Kitty out there firing up retail again. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. Eric says, which day and hour will Finger go to 2,500? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I can't get into. So now it didn't matter who's in charge for the last 50 years or more. Our country's been going downhill except for MAGA. I mean, there's been breaks. So now what? There's been breaks. Reagan mostly did good stuff, although there's a lot I don't like about him. But I agree with you. The MAGA movement is the best thing that happened to America in 100 plus years. And we're going to see a golden age of America in the next few years. It's going to be gorgeous. And all the liberals are going to be so mad when things are going so well. And when J.D. Vance takes over in 2028 and has his own 8-year run, it's going to be incredible. And I am so excited for it. Nick, that's not what I asked you, but you can't even answer a damn question, can you? I said, who would you have supported? But you can't even answer. Can't even answer. Can't give me one answer of who you would vote for if you could pick anybody. It's amazing. Leftists are the last to know they're leftists. That is very true. They all think they're independents. It's so funny listening to one of my favorite people who's a leftist, even though some of her beliefs are crazy. KYP and I get along great. A lot of you guys who've been along in the show for a long time know her. Her and I get along great behind the scenes. I think her beliefs are nuts, and she thinks she's an independent when she's like one of the most hardcore leftists I've ever known. But you're absolutely right about that. The drones are now spotted in Virginia, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Oh yeah, I talked about that. Nuclear reactors? That's interesting. Yeah, GameStop promised no dilution. Toe cramp. They promised no dilution in their earnings statement or next to it. So, what about when he had the House and the Senate slick? It was McCain, Murkowski, and Collins that killed the vote. So he had the Senate with 52, but they killed the Obamacare vote. What we call on the right in MAGA world, we call rhinos, Republicans in name only, killed the vote. So yeah, even though he had the Senate, he didn't get passed. Hey, you want to talk about who had the Senate? What about when Barack Obama had 60 votes in the Senate, the largest Senate majority in a century, had the House, so he was filibuster-proof majority, and he couldn't get anything done except Obamacare, which sucks, and the biggest bailout of all time. Bailing out Wall Street and not sending any of them to jail for tanking the economy, and then set it up so that the economy could get even worse and the government could get just way bigger. And he made all of his friends millionaires, and he let all the CEOs get millions of dollars bonuses. What about when Obama did all that with the biggest majority in modern history and didn't get anything else done? What about that one? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's one of my favorite movies. I love Ferris Bueller. It's great. Dick's mad at the world. Yeah. Thank you, Toe Cramp. Nick is stuttering right now. He says he hates Trump and Biden, and yet in his principled world, as this independent, he can't think of one person he'd vote for. Maybe it's because all the people you'd actually vote for, Nick, would give you away that you are a leftist. Maybe that's what it is. This is fun. Listen, guys, did I miss anything that I was going to cover tonight? Let me see if I missed anything. Did I cover that? Yeah. We're on extra time now, just so you guys know. I'm over an hour. This is kind of when anything goes, open up time. My show usually runs an hour. That's where I cover all my stuff. Let me see if there's anything I missed that I wanted to talk about. But other than that, you guys ask whatever you want, and I'll cover it. Looks like we got more drone sightings tonight. Jeez, that's so weird. I look forward to seeing what comes of all this. It's probably going to be nothing, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Nick, do you understand why I asked you? I asked you because it doesn't even have to be a candidate. It could be somebody you just like. It could be somebody in the media. I don't care. I'm trying to ask you because you claim to be this independent and you claim to be like so smart politically, and yet you can't pick one person who you think you could trust to run things, to advance your ideals of what you want our country to look like. You can't think of one person. I mean, that tells me that you actually just don't want to say it, because you at least have to have something and some skin in the game to have an opinion. Obamacare passed because it was tax plus. I heard it helped steal the children from parents. Really? Okay, I'd have to look at that one. I mean, there are so many policies in the last few years that have given government control and taken it away from parents. Now, thankfully, there's been a huge pushback on that since Trump got in recent years. But that wouldn't surprise me. You know, the greatest thing Trump did in regards to healthcare is he defeated the individual mandate. You know what's so funny about all that is that when he got the individual mandate taken out in his tax bill, so that we didn't all have to pay a penalty every year for not having healthcare, which is some nonsense communist bullshit right there. But he got rid of that, and guess what happened? It didn't collapse. They all said Obamacare would collapse after that, and it didn't. And so Obama lied to us, which, you know, he's very good at. He lies all the time. I bet Nick's a vegetarian. Nick's still here because he hasn't been disrespectful. Listen, I don't mind people who disagree with me. That doesn't bother me at all. It's when people are disrespectful, or just like saying terrible things in the chat, that kind of stuff. Disagreement's always welcome here. You know why one of the reasons disagreement's welcome is because I like being challenged. I do, because if I have a flaw or somebody makes me think of something, I want to know where that flaw is. I want to know where it's exposed. The problem with most leftists is that they can't expose the flaws. They just keep going back to their talking points and their platitudes and the generalities, and it's just a big cliche, and it's exhausting. But, you know, there are smarter people out there, or there's people in areas that are smarter in certain areas than me, and I want to learn from them, and I want to be challenged on why I'm wrong. That's why I engage debate. So I have no problem with people disagreeing with me as long as they're respectful. Nick's been he's been pretty respectful. I have no problem with that. That's why I haven't kicked him out of the chat. You guys know I'm fast to ban. I don't mind, you know, some people are just morons. Some people are just assholes. They're coming to stir stuff up, and they're coming to cause issues or try to just throw me off or be mean. There's no place for that. But if you're respectful and we disagree, we can do that. Nick doesn't care what he's saying. He's just trying. I don't know. I mean, I think he would have said even more if he was really just trying to get me going. Peanut would have been mayor. That's why they took him out. Oh, man. Justice for Peanut. Butters asks, where do I think the whales for GJT will come from? Oh, that's a good question. You mean whales? So, okay, Butters. Is your question that you think there's going to be a ton of whales that need to come in to blow DJT up? See, I don't think that's necessary. It didn't take over the whole podcast. I've covered a lot, Stella. I don't think that's a fair assessment, Stella. I covered easily an hour's worth of content, on other stuff too. So there was just a back and forth. So, but as far as DJT is concerned, GameStop, I don't think it's whales that have to buy in to make it run. I think, well, DJT for one, we have whales holding. Okay, so that alone is crushing them. We have, Trump, if he's got 57% and he's holding it, that alone is driving the short sellers mad. And then you have people like Bondi with 100,000 shares. I'm sure there's lots of other people who have a ton of shares in DJT. Why? Because there's a lot of people with good money who trust Trump, who trust his business sense, who know that like when he does stuff like this, especially with the MAGA movement now, it can make them a lot of money. So there's got to be a lot of whales that we don't even know about that are in holding. They've already made a bunch of money. DJT's been great for everybody this year as a stock. The company has no debt, so there's nothing to be afraid of. It's making deals behind the scenes. I'm still waiting to see if this deal with the crypto broker goes through. If that does, it's going to be massive. If it becomes a media stock, it's going to be massive. So there's all kinds of stuff out there for DJT that's setting up. So I don't think whales need to buy in. They just need to hold what they have. And then as Trump gets closer to getting in, these people, if you're a short in Trump's stock, do you seriously, if you're scared of the man because he's unstable or he's whatever, that's what they'll say, he's unstable, or because you just know he's going out for justice, like I believe, and you know that his attorney general and his director of FBI are heavily invested in this stock as well, and you have Devin Nunes running it, who is the House Foreign Intelligence Committee chair. You have all these people with crazy government power in that stock. Are you going to seriously think you're going to stay in that stock? F no. You're getting out. And so what will happen is once they start covering, as long as the whales hold, once they start covering, it's just going to take one or two shorts, start covering, it's going to start spiking that price, and then they'll all just run for the hills. So that's how I think that goes down. So I'm not worried about that at all. So glad Biden had the House instead of for years. How got so much? Slick, are you for real? You think the liberals that passed all Biden's stuff were moderates? Oh my God. That's the other funny thing about leftists. They always think they're moderates. It's like, hey, we're cool with children getting their penises cut off. We're moderates. We're cool with men playing women's sports. We're moderates. It's just like, are you kidding me? Who's a true moderate? Elon Musk, who voted for Biden, woke up from how insane he that was and went over to Trump. And just like Joe Rogan, Elon, all these guys, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., they were all Democrats, moderate Democrats, and they saw that the left went freaking insane, and so they all left. And you know why this election just got lost, why Kamala Harris got her ass kicked, and why we got the Senate back and kept the House, and we're going to have the Supreme Court for the next 40 years? You know why? Because all the moderates left. The left. They're like, bye, Felicia, we're done. F this place. These people are crazy. That's who left. Biden didn't have moderates. There's no such thing. There's no moderates in there at all. All right. So that's a crazy, but again, leftists never know how crazy they are. Or if they do, they will never admit it, because then they'd lose power, because they're completely beholden to their donors. Brett says on DJT, I don't think it's going to be a whale coming in, more of a settlement issue with the amount of counterfeit shares. Exactly. Mad Max, disagreements welcome here because it's conservative view. It's sorry, no matter what you do or say, you'll never fix it. That's true. Yeah. I'm not afraid to have disagreements with me, because I actually know why I believe what I believe, and I have the facts to back it up. And again, I welcome arguments that could convince me otherwise, but I got to have evidence. I've followed evidence my whole life. That's why most of my views have changed significantly over the past 20 years. Did I see the article in the Lancet? They said that Trump's response to the pandemic caused... Come on, Slick. You want to know what caused the most deaths in the pandemic? How about lockdowns, which was only done by leftists? That's number one. How about the stupid hospital protocols, which killed hundreds of thousands of people? That killed so many people. Do you know that Fauci approved, oh man, I can't remember the name of the drug right now, but he approved the drug from China that caused your organs to shut down, killed 50% of the people on it. Yeah, that was part of the hospital protocol. Don't even get me started on Trump and the pandemic. Anybody who believes Trump was the problem of the pandemic is seriously gone. You're not looking at evidence at all. You're just reading bullshit. I'm sorry, but the pandemic is like the weakest argument against Trump at all. He didn't lock down anything. It was all blue states. Lockdowns caused people to go into severe depression. They kept schools closed for 2 years. They screwed up education in America, even worse than it already was, which was already a mess. They did everything they did was wrong, and it was all the liberals' fault. All the liberals' fault. It was all the red states. Trump was brilliant. He let everybody stay open. He said, "You guys, like the governors, decide." You know, I wish he was tougher. I wish he'd said like everybody has to stay open, but Trump's a federalist and a constitutionalist, believe it or not. So he didn't go that route. Butters, what's proven is hedgies can offset retail. They can until they're actually, somebody's going after them. If they know they're about to be under investigation, and if they know could be prison time because finally there's somebody in there who's not effing around, who's not on their side, that could change everything. They're only allowed to offset retail because nobody enforces the rules right now. Gary Gensler, a.k.a. Clinton's campaign manager, who now runs the SEC, lets them get away with murder. And that's why they can keep doing it. 700 warrants. Nice, Stella. As far as the drones, what I think they are, I don't know. I'm just being honest. I present a bunch of views. I present a couple ideas that I think are possible earlier, but I don't honestly know what's going on. I just don't think it's something scary. He helped develop the vaccine. It's not true that he helped develop the vaccine. He did clear he cleared the ramps for them to push forward the vaccine sooner. And listen, I hate the vaccine. I'm not vaccinated. I never will be. My kids aren't vaccinated, and guess what? They're perfectly healthy, except for my oldest son, who is vaccinated and is autistic. But yeah, I would never let the COVID vaccine within 100 feet of my family. It's poison. And I hate that Trump allowed that to happen. But I also understand why he did, because with Biden coming in, if I'm Donald Trump and I see that every single leftist in power has locked down their states, even way past the point it was necessary. It was never necessary, but way past the point even people knew it wasn't necessary. And I see a leftist president's coming in, and I'm like, there's only one way to prevent them from locking down the entire country for as long as they want. It's a vaccine. And I hate it, and I think it was a rock and a hard place decision, but I understand it. You know what Trump never did, though, Nick? He never mandated the vaccine. He never did. You know who did mandate it? Biden. Mandated it to a bunch of government people, and it was leftists who mandated that, and they're all evil for it. And I think it's one of the most evil things ever perpetrated on anybody is forcing people to take that vaccine. That was never Trump. DJT, they've been walking a fine line, keeping off Reg Show, and Nunes watching it, ends up back on the list. He'll take off sooner than we expect. That's a good point. I didn't think about that because it was on Reg Show a long time, and it has been off a while. So good point, Brett. By the way, if you're still watching, hey guys, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. We do what we do. This is the longest live I've done in a while publicly, and I'm having fun, so I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer. I thought I was tired, but I got back. Remdesivir. Thank you, Just Mike. Yeah, remdesivir is poison. And Fauci had it become part of the protocol. So everybody who went into the hospital with COVID and was bedded got remdesivir, and it killed maybe millions of people. Because 50% of people on remdesivir, their organs shut down. Their kidneys shut down first. It's pure evil. NYSE is a damn hellhole. They steal from upstate. It's true. Everybody I know who lives in New York right now is sick over how bad it's gotten. And it doesn't mean, I think rich people are still living fine, but the streets have gone bad. And that's That's everywhere. Remdesivir was approved to use, originally used on AIDS patients, but killed them. Yeah, Fauci was responsible for that too. Yeah, Fauci is, listen, they call Trump Hitler. I think Fauci is the modern day Hitler. He's responsible for more deaths than anybody. Trump said hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. He did. He tried to get that out there, and you know who shut him down? Fauci and Birx. Crazy overnight spread on finger. Maybe we'll have a good finger day. It's been a while. It's been a while. Rodney, drones are either military or police. See them here in Alabama. Talk with police officers, told they're used for surveillance. Yeah, but that doesn't explain, Rodney. And I'm not saying you're wrong. That doesn't explain the outbreak of everything. You're 4 jabs. I'm sorry, but that explains a lot. But listen to me. I mean, yeah, you took it because people are against it. Dude, like 76% of Americans took it. I don't think it wasn't like the majority was against it, bro. It's like 4 billion people took it or something like that. You think it's, listen, do you know what VAERS is? VAERS is where people report vaccine injuries. Do you know how much that's gone up since the COVID vaccine? Go look at the numbers. I'll let you go look it up. It's at a major spike. You don't want to bring Rona home to sick father. Listen, I understand why a lot of people took it the first time. I get it. People were scared. Didn't have much information. That's fine. I get it. But if you're still taking it now, dude, you're a big pharma like lover. Anyways, I'm not going to go too into that one. But I understand you didn't want to bring Corona, but I mean, I'll ask you, how many times have you had Corona? You know, after taking that. Unsure about Elon. He wants to be on a winning team. Trump needs to be careful with him. I don't agree with that. I think Elon is fully independent. And what does he need to be on a winning team for? The man is worth $400 billion. You see what Tesla's doing now? The man is killing it. If he just wanted to be on the winning team, why did he buy X or Twitter at the time? That was a stupid purchase from a business decision, and from a winning decision, it was a stupid decision. $44 billion got Twitter. I just disagree with that statement. I don't think Elon has shown that he only follows what's trendy. I just don't think he's shown that at all. I think he's shown a very independent streak for the entire time he's been in the public spotlight the last 15, 20 years. Who can bankrupt a casino? Lots of people in Atlantic City, actually. Slick. Listen, man. I love the Trump's not successful argument. He's only like one of the most successful real estate people of all time. Like, just look at New York. He's got several successful businesses. When you run 100 businesses over the course of your life, do you realize several of them will fail? That's just how it works. It's not about having whether businesses fail or not. It's whether they blow up. Would you consider Mark Cuban successful? Mark Cuban sold his stake in his company in the early 2000s, 2001 for $4 billion and has invested in several companies since. 2000, he's worth $4 billion. You know how much he's worth now? About $4.5 billion. In 24 years, he's increased his wealth by $500 million after having $4 billion. That's not successful, and yet people would think Mark Cuban's very successful. Trump's worth $4 or $5 billion, depending on where this DJT stock is at the time. Worth several billions, become president twice. And whenever people try to tell me he's unsuccessful, I'm like, he's literally maybe one of the most successful people in world history. That's such a stupid argument. Mad Max, because it was a winning team, that's why he bought it. Twitter was losing money. What do you mean? Like, see, I don't get that argument. Butter said, I think Elon did win with the Twitter purchase, spent $45 billion, helped Trump get elected, enjoyed massive. Oh, listen, Twitter won. Elon won with Twitter, but there's no way he knew he was going to win at the time, is my point. And so he didn't do it to win, if that makes sense. All right, Nick, take care. Have a good night. You're all right too, buddy. Thanks for being respectful despite the disagreements. God bless. Mark Cuban's like Jack Wallaby in Anchorman 2. Cat Sink, Trump invited anyone with $1 billion to start a business in the USA with promise of no red tape. I mean, I saw that. It's amazing. Mark, your mom died February 20 COVID. I'm so sorry. I knew 3 friends who died of COVID, and every single one of them died during hospital protocols of being ventilated and remdesivir. And I think that, you know, there's no way to know if they would have survived without it. But I will say that, you know, I knew a lot of people who got COVID. Some of them had it pretty bad. And everybody who didn't go to the hospital, who just like got ivermectin or went on like a major, what's the word I'm looking for? Like supplement boost, something like that. All those people, they came through, and not one of them died. So you guys be nice to Nick. Your mom had cancer 7 times since 2002 and COVID got her. Holy cow. Mad Max, either good or bad, either decision takes hard work if one comes up independent, not caring about yourself. 100%. That's a good point, Max. Wicked, Trump's not successful as president of the free world. I know, he's one of the most successful people ever. And obviously a successful businessman. You don't make $1 billion easy. And people will be like, well, dad gave him money. You tried turning $10 million into $4 billion. Like I just said, Mark Cuban couldn't turn $4 billion into $5 billion. He's considered one of the most successful men in America. He couldn't turn $4 billion into $5 billion in 24 years. Trump turned $10 million, which he got from his dad, into $4 billion in 20 years. That's a big multiple, my friends. That's a big multiple. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe. We got 166 watching. Let's see if we can get it over 100. I would greatly appreciate it. In fact, I'll appreciate it so much. I'll play the X-Files theme one more time. Like, subscribe, share. They're like Dr. Disrespect. Doctor. I don't know if you guys watch Dr. Disrespect, but he's hilarious. Best game streamer there is. I don't even watch game streamers, but I watch Doc because he's hilarious. Remember when Elon bought Twitter, they inflated the value of it and he tried to get out of the deal, but look at it now. That's exactly right. Yeah. Listen, buying Twitter turned out to be one of the greatest purchases of all time as far as impacting history. And there'll be history books written about it. And I think it was critical when it was bought too, in 2022, because without it, Trump doesn't win. Americans don't wake up as much as they did. And he came in right before they were able to build things up to the point where they could completely censor, because Kamala had this on her agenda. After this election, if they pulled this off, they were going to pull the plug on Twitter one way or the other. They were going to do all kinds of nonsense. They were going to try to, get back the Supreme Court to protect them, get more leftists on there. We might have more Scalias happening, if you know what I mean. And they would pack the court. And once they had that, they would have carte blanche to get rid of, to censor. So the timing of Elon was important too, because we had 2 full years to speak freely and to defeat leftist nonsense, BS narratives for 2 years, instantaneously. Twitter is it's one of the smaller social media channels, but it's the most powerful. And it's amazing what they did. Now they're claiming Black Vikings historically accurate. Oh, I know. I saw that was in Sweden, right? That's so crazy. Wicked had 3 aunts die in ventilators in the hospital and had the jazz. Oh my God, that's terrible. XRP tomorrow. Nice. So now what? Vitamin D3 and black seed oil plus some others you still take to get. Yeah, exactly. I took all that stuff when I was on, when I had COVID. Thomas Dubois, by the way, brother, how are you feeling, man? I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope you're doing all right with your cancer stuff. We got to win more. Amen. Most of the Vikings are black. You live in Minnesota. Nice, Mike. Obama's never played with little kids. Vin, can you tag me on that? I haven't seen that. Mike, that was awesome. We did it, Joe. We broke 100 likes. I love it. Max says, Trump is very smart, smarter than before. I believe Trump wants to see good in people. Sometimes don't exist. Max, maybe that might be true. But I'll say this. I would rather have a president and a leader who's very tough and yet still wants to grant mercy if possible. I would still rather have that than someone who sees no room for mercy anywhere. So I'd rather have that flaw than the other hand, is my point. I don't think it's going to end up being an issue, honestly, but I'd rather have that. And the reason why is just as a Christian, there's many people who would think that God's flawed for all of his mercy, and yet he delights in showing mercy. It's true, but he also brings justice when it's time. When that often comes when mercy's been extended far longer than any of us would like. And so if it's up to us, I'm just glad it's not a lot of time. So feeling okay. Thomas says, still taking meds like Skittles. God bless you, brother. I'm so sorry to hear that. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. How's Canada doing? How's our 51st state doing with Governor Trudeau up there? How's he doing? You guys feeding into the American ecosystem better now with Trump back? 51st state, baby. We're gonna get you on our flag. We got to redesign the flag now. Yeah, I can't hit William. I also gotta go to bed soon. I got work tomorrow, but I had fun tonight. This was fun. It was the first time in a while somebody challenged me, and I gotta give Nick some credit. He did it respectfully for the most part. So, and that's why he stayed on. And also had Slick and Nick. Slick and Nick. What are the odds? They rhyme like that. So, but I do gotta take off because it's almost 1 a.m. I stayed up way longer than I expected. But all right, people, please like, share, subscribe on your way out. I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to the members as always and your support. You guys make this channel happen. Again, I have some plans. I'm going to try some things in the new year, and I think I'm going to make the even better to be a member. So planning to have some guests on soon. This week kind of got me because just my wife being out of town. It just that I got more worn down than I expected to. So have to push off the guest till mostly next week. I might have one on tomorrow, but probably not because the Niners are on tomorrow, so I'll be on late. So, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me that you guys show up, watch me, engage with me. You guys are the best, and I just hope and pray that I do something valuable enough to deserve your guys' attention, because it really means a lot that you guys watch and keep taking keep giving me chances. So, but God bless you guys. You're the best. I pray you guys have a great night. And let me just pray real quick. So God bless everybody here. Thank you, God, for this group. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome, this community. I love them so much. So God bless all of them. Bless Thomas and his health, Lord. I pray he gets better. On Mike and Jenny L and anybody else who needs it. And then just bless our nation, Lord. Pray that we get through all this quickly, get Trump in. And I pray that once he's in, God, the momentum continues. And we just see change happen quickly in our nation so we can all prosper and do better, but mostly for our kids and grandkids, and that they have a better country than we had. So thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, bless you guys. What's up, Bear Post? Sorry I'm heading off, but you're welcome to you got a membership. Congrats, and go watch the members' lives. I hope you enjoy them. And join the Discord, guys. Join the Discord. So anyways,